Oh, yo, they changed it slightly. Okay. Live button is up. Live button's up there now. That's cool. Anyway, that guy looks so bare and there now. Regardless, you. Yep, I'm going between seasons. Between season three did season three of Aqua Teen. Now doing season three of Always Sunny. Quick recap on the first two seasons. Season one, good, but wasn't like anything amazing. But was only 7 episodes, so what do you expect? Season two, definitely really good, and an absolute step up from an already good season. We already got 2 seasons that are perfect. So the first 2 seasons already set the show up for something good. But how will season three continue the train that the first 2 seasons have started? Let's find out. 1. Gang finds a dumpster baby. Mac and D raise a dumpster baby. Pretty self explanatory. Meanwhile, Dennis rivals a hippie. Also, Charlie and Frank become garbage hoarders. A lot going on for one episode, but how is it overall? It is an amazing episode. 5 out of 5. We are starting the season off with a peak episode. Easily the best episode of the entire show so far. I love this thing. What I love about this episode so much is that, well, first of all, for an episode with 3 different stories, it all comes together so well, at least in my personal opinion. You have the actual dumpster baby plotline with Dennis and Mac. Not Dennis and Mac. Dennis is not in this, but with Mac and D. And that's pretty funny. I mean, just seeing them try to raise a baby. And there's so off. And again, as the first 2 seasons have stated over and over again, the gang are awful people. So obviously, they're going to not care about the baby's needs and instead try to straight up get it tanned so it looks Mexican so they can use him for money. It's classic douchebag gang behavior. The Charlie and Frank stuff is also pretty good, even if it's probably the least peak of the 3 plot lines. But it's still really good, which I think says a lot about the quality of this one. Seeing Charlie and Frank just poured and eventually end up looking like homeless men is pretty funny. Fair warning, though, a lot of the Charlie and Frank stuff in this episode is a continuation off the season 2 finale, so you are going to have to watch the season 2 finale to fully understand this. But in general, Always Sunny is a show where you really need to watch it in order anyway, so I don't know, just watch it in order, bro. To watch the show in order, why are you trying to skip around, bro? And finally, the highlight of the episode, we got hippie Dennis. I love this plot line. It took separated from the rest of the episode, it is one of the greatest plot lines so far. But to be fair, this is already the best episode so far. But this is easily the highlight of it. Dennis, this is really the beginning of Dennis's manipulation and him being so good at taking over something. He slowly starts to blend in with the hippies so well, and he's so evil about it. But then again, the hippie guy, the hippie leader, I think Sage was his name. Dude was a douche, so I can't really say I felt bad for him. But obviously, you don't really want Dennis winning either. It's really funny and very well written. Just a very amazing episode of the show overall, and it really sets the precedent that season 3 will be bigger and better than the first 2 seasons. 2. Gang gets invincible. Or should I say, gang gets insert invincible meme. But that's stupid, so I'm not going to say that. Dennis, Mac, and D try out for a football team. Meanwhile, Frank and Charlie do acid. Don't worry. Frank wanted to do acid. He just forced Charlie into it. Capiche? For real, though, this is a 4 out of 5. I have less to say about this one than the other one, other than it was a pretty good episode. I honestly thought between the 2 plots, I probably preferred the Charlie and Frank plot. We got to see Charlie wearing Green Man. I love Green Man so much. I love that it's just Charlie Day, Charlie Kelly's actor, just wearing a total green costume. It's so fun. It's so dumb, but it's the type of dumb humor I love from this show. Well, the actual Invincible plotline with the rest of the gang is still good, though. I really liked the ending where D won the contest between the three of them, but she still lost anyway because she hit her knee too hard. It's really good. So yeah, overall, this is an episode I think is pretty good and pretty funny. The coach for the football thing is very funny. I forgot how much of a good one-off character he was. Definitely, I do hope we see that guy eventually, but I'm pretty sure we don't. So bummer. It's a pretty good episode. Oh yeah, and we see the McPoyles again. Just to let you know. 3. Dennis and Dee's mom is dead. Dennis parties in his mom's mansion. Meanwhile, Dee and Frank try to get their mom's money. Yes, it is true. With this episode, we see the passing of Frank's wife, well, ex-wife. But again, if you watched her in season 2, you know we don't really care that she died. But we do care about this episode, for it is a 5 out of 5. I love the hell out of this episode. Again, this is the Dennis stuff with Dennis, Mac, and Charlie is the obvious highlight between the two plot lines. That stuff is so awesome. Definitely one of the best plot lines so far. And honestly, if the Dee and Frank stuff was as good, I think this could have been the best episode so far. And it could have beaten Dumpster Baby. Seriously, just everything about that plot line is great. Charlie hanging out with this weird dude. Dennis and Mac just torturing these poor college kids. They're such nerds, but like Dennis and Mac are just treating them like shit. It's so it proves why the gang can never just have normal friends because they're so messed up mentally. They'll never and they're too self-centered to ever really acknowledge that they're in the wrong. Oh, and of course, you can't forget the Dick Flyer. We love you, Dick Flyer. I don't though, I'm straight. As for the Dee and Frank plot, I feel like I really undersold it so far, which isn't fair. It's still really good. I like seeing Frank try to pretend he's this chill guy when he's Frank. Frank is not good at this type of thing at all, so he kind of ruins it. It is, admittedly, I think it would have been funnier if Bruce, aka Dennis and Dee's real dad, didn't know, or at least, no, that's not what I meant. What I mean is that I wish the show didn't tell us, the viewer, so early on that he knows. I think it would have been funnier if we waited until the very end for him to finally realize. But revealing it so early kind of ruins the joke a little. I still absolutely love the ending though, where he just calls the gang out. Again, the gang really does deserve a good calling out pretty much almost every episode. This isn't so yeah. This is still a great episode, and I love it a ton. 4. Gang gets held hostage. Gang gets held hostage by the McPoyles. To clarify, in the Invincible episode, the gang accidentally starts up a rivalry with the McPoyles again, thus leading to this episode almost immediately after. What do I think of it? It's a 4 out of 5. This is one where I really don't have a lot to say about the episode other than I liked it. I know Entertain the Elk said that this is when he considered the day Always Sunny was born, and I'm sorry, bro, but how can you look at Dumpster Baby, Invincible, and Dennis and Dee's mom is dead, and then look at this one and be like, this is where the show got its peak? And this is coming from someone who thinks the show was not peak, but still a very good show from the start. So it was very dumb. I didn't personally agree with the video, but I shouldn't say dumb. It was a very well made video, better than anything I've made on this channel. But anyway, this is still a pretty good. I still like this one decently enough. I liked Charlie trying to have his interrogation of Franca in the vents. That was fun. In general, this episode has the gang portraying each other a lot. So if you're really into that type of thing, then this is probably the episode for you. Admittedly, I don't love the McPoyles as side characters. They're good, but if we're counting like S tier Always Sunny characters, they're more A or B tier. Still good though, and I still do like this episode. Still plenty of funny moments. 5. Aluminum Monster versus Fatty Magoo. Dee sees an old high school friend, and Dennis tries selling dresses to her. Man, this is a 4 out of 5. This is a really good episode, and honestly, the Dennis stuff is peak. It could have been 5 if it was just the Dennis stuff. Again, much like with the dump is plotting in the dumpster baby episode, we once again continue to see Dennis as the manipulation and just him really not caring about anyone else. He's so self-centered, and it's so hilarious to watch. I think it might debate. I'm not sure which plotline I like more because in this one, he's so desperate because the lady obviously does not want his dresses, but he's determined to make it happen. He's like, "Oh no, I don't take words like no or stop." And it's so creepy, but also really freaking funny. As for the rest of the episode, it's still really good, but nowhere near the level of the Dennis stuff. Frank trying to coach Mac in terms of manipulating is pretty funny, and so is Charlie working for them. Andy, admittedly, kind of sad that she kind of got the short end of the stick here, since she is the Fatty Magoo, but oh well, this is still a really good episode, brought up by the Dennis plot. So Dennis is really starting to become a peak character, and while Charlie is still my personal favorite character, I think Dennis is a very close second. And Dennis definitely has some of the best plot lines in the show, as we've already seen with 2 of these ones so far. And technically 3 if you count the Mom is Dead episode. Gotta take a quick little drink break. My parents bought me little Gatorade bottles. I'm trying to drink out of it. I'm trying to use them, but they're not so good, you know? Yeah, I'm making random small talk. So what? My video, bro. Do you want me to keep talking about the episodes? Because I'll do that. 6. Gang solves North Korea situation. Gang feels threatened by a new Korean bar. Okay, so this one is odd. I like it. It's a 4 out of 5, but man, all I'm gonna say is that the ending reveal is really weird, but unfortunately not in a good way. It's actually very creepy and gross and disturbing. All I'm gonna say is I'm happy is that the Charlie plot was kind of cute until the ending twist. It's one of those rare times where it's always where when the show's trying to be darker, it's not working so well. It's a little creepy. The other plot with the rest of the stuff is still pretty good though. Charlie and Dennis trying to get like the secret ingredient in the Korean bar is easily the highlight. All the best jokes came from that. The door marked pirate. I see a door marked private. And also the stuff with the rest of the gang is also solid enough. It's a good episode, but not definitely an easy week so far. 7. Gang sells out. Gang ruins their chances at selling out Paddy's pub. This is a 5 out of 5, and I love this one, not so much for the story. There's not so much a great story going on here, but it does have a lot of funny jokes. From the gang slowly like just separating at first it's all the dudes because they just hate D so much. But then they kick Charlie out, and then they kick Frank out. It and it pretty much essential, and then Dennis gets kicked out. I mean, people get kicked out. Okay. Eventually, they're all working at this restaurant, at this other bar that the waitress is the manager at. So there's a lot of awkward tension there because of past events. And then Frank starts up an old biker gang, but it's really a doo-wop group. So I don't even know, bro. It's a lot. This episode again, I'm not gonna act like it has some great story or it's some like a great piece of fiction, but hey, I laughed a lot during it, and this is clearly an episode even more so than a usual episode. The plot feels like they didn't really put a lot of time into it, but it is still a very funny episode, and that's why I'm giving it a 5 rating. Really funny stuff with this one. RP Hockey, by the way. 8. Frank sets Sweet D on fire. Mac, Charlie, and Frank try making news. Meanwhile, Dennis and Dee attempt to be famous by doing nothing. Another episode, another 5 out of 5. Man, they are doing really well this season. In season 2, we kind of wait towards the end for the 5s, but in this season, as you can see, we're like midway through, and we're just getting 5 after 5 after 5, bro. They're really on their A game here. This episode, the whole theme with this episode is pretty much just like trying to make it big. You have the news plot line, and then Dennis and you trying to get popular by doing nothing, like a lot of celebrities at the time, and admittedly still now. The two plots come together towards the end, and it all ties in very well. I did like when they were trying to make a good news story from them at the nursing home to Mac actually doing good for once and actually saving a dude's life. So for once, I could say someone in the gang does a good deed, but it instantly gets ruined when Charlie didn't even have a tape in the camera. By the way, I love how Charlie just screams, "Oh, I didn't have the camera! I didn't!" It's so dumb. God, I hope no one heard that in my house. So that would be so awkward, bro. It's already awkward. What am I talking about? The Dennis and D stuff is also really good as well. D not being able to get into this nightclub, and then Dennis just being able to, and him just having the time of his life, bro. And we even get the peak show dancing guy. Come on, we all love dancing guy. Imagine saying no to dancing guy. That's crazy work. 9. Sweet D's dating a mentally challenged person. Saying mentally challenged instead of the hard R because I don't want people thinking too wrongly about me. Anyway, for the plot, we got D's dating a rapper who Dennis thinks is special. Also, the rest of the gang form a band. Yeah, this is a peak episode. A 5 out of 5 easy with this one. Don't even have a lot to say about this episode, honestly. The Dennis and D plot is very well written. I feel so bad for this rapper, bro. It was a little something I don't remember, but the important takeaway is that he dumps D because D let Dennis got into her head too much. So D just took Dennis's word for it. Feel very bad for this rapper dude. He deserved better. But let's all be real. The main reason why this episode is so peak is the band plot line. I love this takes over all the previous stuff as being the best plot line in It's Always Sunny so far. It probably still is one of my favorite plot lines of the entire show, even with taking the rest of the seasons into account. I love everything about it. Them forming the band, to them trying to do stuff like wrecking a hotel room, but Frank still has to pay for it. And then you have them actually trying to make the song, and then you have Charlie's song. It's just two men sharing the night. It might seem wrong, but it's just right. It's just two men sharing each other. It's just two men like loving brothers. One on top and one on bottom. One inside and one is out. One is screaming, he's so happy. The other screaming, a passionate's out. It's the night, man. Feeling so wrong and right, man. You're feeling so wrong and right, man. The fact I barely remember scenes of shows that closely, but god damn it, that was so iconic. And then you got Dennis doing his thing too when they kick Charlie out, but then they kick Dennis out too. So the two of them form to create Dayman. Oh, fight to love the night, man. Oh, champion of the sun. Yeah, this is the best episode so far. I don't think I need to explain myself. 10. Mac is a serial killer. Oh no. The gang thinks Mac's a serial killer. No. When really, he's secretly seeing Carmen. No. Wait, what's no about that? Episode is a 4 out of 5. Admittedly, this episode has the type of plotline I'm usually not a big fan of. The whole, "Oh, character is looking sus," but turns out it's a whole misunderstanding. So the plot wasn't that good here, but honestly, this episode's way funnier than I remembered. You have Dennis and Dee pretending to get into the mind of serial killers, but Dennis genuinely just wants to be a serial killer. But let's be honest, Dennis probably is a serial killer, especially as the show goes on. It gets so obvious he probably is. Then you have Charlie trying to be Mac's lawyer because Charlie just watched Law and Order, a show I know nothing about other than the iconic theme song. Don't have a lot to say about this episode. Admittedly, the Mac and Carmen stuff is still. I'm not too grossed out by it, but much like when I talk, hopefully I talked about this in my season one review of Charlie has cancer. But if you are uncomfortable by the Carmen stuff, I do kind of get it. 2000s was a different time. But I'm the type of guy who does like dark jokes like that. Well, I shouldn't say dark, but like I'm like a straight male, bro. This does not affect me. Overall, pretty good episode. Mostly for the jokes, though. The plot is a bit too basic. 11. Dennis looks like a registered SE offender. Not saying it, and not gonna have it written like that in the comment section. The prison lets out prisoners due to overcrowding. This results in Mac's dad being released and a child toucher that looks exactly like Dennis. Episode is a 4 out of 5. Yeah, I like this episode. Admittedly, the thing I'm noticing about season 3 is that compared to the first two seasons, the plots feel way more loose. Hell, I think in later seasons the plots get way more tightly written, but in comparison, they really didn't care as much here. The two plots have almost nothing to do with each other than both of them involving a prison letting out the prisoners. Anyway, they're both good. I like them solidly enough. The highlight moments from both plots are in the Dennis and Dee plot. I liked Dennis and Dee at the playground, and Dee pretty much just letting Dennis take a bad rap. But again, I would feel bad, but it's Dennis, so I really couldn't care less that people think he's a pedo. Then we also have the scene where to get the guy out of town, they have this kid called Timmy. I have no idea how they got him, but he starts saying all this creepy stuff, and it's also pretty funny. As for the Mac plot, it's also just kind of good without being anything special. I do like the ending twist, which I won't spoil here, but a lot of it wasn't great. I did like the dinner party though. And Charlie in general really caring more about Frank than he does his own mom. That's just, man, that's crazy work. That's all I can say about that, really. So yeah, good episode. Even if once again the plot is kind of taken on the back burner. 12. Gang gets whacked. Part 1. Dennis and Dee find coke and sell it, not knowing the mob would come for them. Aw man, we got the show's first two-parter. How's part 1 of this legendary two-parter? And by legendary, I mean it's just the first one. It's a 4 out of 5. I really like this one. Due to this being the part 1 of a part 2, well, obviously it does have some problems that you may not like, but in general, though, I've made it a rule that I count two-parters as separate episodes, which I am doing here as well, obviously. And And part 1 on its own is a pretty good episode. A lot of the jokes I liked, like Charlie talking about, like Charlie just being like, "Oh yeah, we got some fresh nose clams deep from the ocean," and like the drug dealer not even knowing what he's talking about. That was pretty funny. Also, the whole thing at like the fancy place was funny with Mac and Dee getting kicked out, and Charlie loving the horse way too much, and also just making fun of little people the whole time. Like, bro, don't be doing all that. Come on, Charlie. And the episode ends with them kicking Mac out. Why? Because I guess Mac is too much of a loudmouth. Kind of weird. The gang doesn't usually choose D a lot, so it feels weird they took her side over Mac's. But whatever. It's still funny. This is a pretty good episode. 13. The gang gets whacked. Part 2. The gang still have mob troubles and handle it the best ways they can. So poorly. This is another pretty good episode, but there's not a lot I can say about it that I didn't already say about part one. It's a really good continuation. Bringing in Riggedy Cricket is good. We see him after his whole spiral with the gang back in season two. Cricket is very much still messed up. Well, not still, but like after the events of the end of, of the season two episode, Cricket ain't doing so well for himself, I'm afraid. And the gang will continue to just take advantage of him throughout the entire show. Man, oh man, poor Cricket, bro. The Charlie and Dee in general end up taking a lot of crack, and also Cricket all starts taking a lot of crack, or no, coke. They're all the same thing, pretty much. I don't take that kind of stuff anyway, so obviously it does not affect me. The Frank and Dennis stuff is also solid enough, and you gotta feel. Well, I can't really feel bad for Mac, but Mac does definitely get treated poorly by the mob because he wants to join them. But they know they just use him as pretty much a janitor, kind of like how the gang uses Charlie as a janitor. It's another pretty good episode. In general, the gang gets whacked as a perfectly funny two-parter. I'm not sure if the plot was like the most special thing they could have done for a two-parter, but I think it worked out perfectly enough. 14. Bums making a mess all over the city. Charlie, Frank, and Dennis pretend to be cops. Meanwhile, Mac and Dee try taking care of the bums, who are indeed making a mess all over the city. This is a 4 out of 5. I really like this one. I don't have a lot to say on it, partially because I'm tired, but also partially because I do, in general, don't have much. I really liked Dennis caring for the cat. That was a very nice thing. Very rare to see a nicer side to Dennis, but hey, I guess he has a thing for animals. I don't even know. The Mac and D stuff didn't get a lot of time to be developed, at least from what I remember, which is literally almost recently because I literally watched it. Well, not earlier today, but like on February 28th. The day technically its live's gonna get posted on YouTube. But yeah, I felt very underdeveloped. As for the rest of the gang's plot, though, Charlie this time I think is the big highlight. Him trying to be an undercover cop and acting like he's above it all when he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So it's a very good contrast and is a pretty funny material. I do really like this episode. Definitely check it out. Even if it's not like it's kind of like roughly in the middle of the season list, which if anything proves how peak the season is because I still really like this episode. And finally, we end off with 15. Gang dances their buns off. Charlie accidentally sets the bar as a prize for a dance off. The episode title is self explanatory from there. We end season 3 with a 5 out of 5. I do love this episode. It's been a hot minute since we had a 5 out of 5. A lot of those were kind of just good, but nothing good, really good, but not like top tier. But we got another tier one here. I do love this episode. Seeing the gang at like their most manipulative and just trying to kick everyone out of the dance marathon was pretty good. We saw the waitress and Cricket back for more of the action, and they continue to get messed up by the gang because, of course, they are. Of course, the gang ruins them. Highlight for me was definitely Dennis faking being an instructor. I really do feel bad for that poor couple that had to deal with them, but hey man, that's just how it be when you in Paddy's pub. You got put up with a lot of BS. Overall, a great end to the season. Very happy with that. Very well made. Moving on to the episode rankings. At the bottom, but still a 4 out of 5 because these were all good episodes. So with least good, we have Gang solves North Korea situation. Dennis looks like a registered C offender. Gang gets held hostage. Mac is a serial killer. Bums making a mess all over the city. Gang gets invincible. Gang gets whacked part 2. Gang gets whacked part 1. Aluminum Monster versus Fatty Magoo. And then we get to top six, which are the 5 out of 5s and the great episodes of the season. We got Gang dances their buns off, just barely avoiding the top five for me. Then we got Gang sells out. Frank sets Sweetie on fire. Dennis and Dee's mom is dead. Gang finds a dumpster baby. And Sweetie's dating a mentally challenged person is easily my favorite episode of the season. It will probably remain one of my top episodes of the whole show, simply because I love that Charlie plotline so goddamn much. As a whole, season 3 of It's Always Sunny is really freaking good, man. I enjoyed it so much. Although I did lose some motivation to make this video because of personal stuff, I'm glad to say that for the season itself, it's still really good. Season 1 was the show starting to walk. Season 2 was them running. And season 3 is like, I don't know, them sprinting. Towards the end of season 2, I feel like the show is really starting to go from really good to a truly amazing show. And season 3 is just the show being amazing. At this point, the show, they already have 2 seasons worth of like build up. So now the show is really just writing at top form and is so good to see. The characters at this point have pretty much reached my favorite versions of them. Dennis, Dennis is very manipulative and evil. Mac tries to be like the cool guy, but fails at it miserably. Charlie is a lovable weirdo and will truly be the wild man, but saving that for next season. Dee is pretty much like Meg from Family Guy, except her abuse is honestly way funnier than Meg's. And then we got Frank being pretty much the money man. Will also just having a bunch of weird practices and knowing a bunch of weird people. Though to be fair, all the gang are weird. I love all of these characters so much. I love to hate them. The gang are honestly are the best love to hate characters I think I've seen in any piece of media, except like debatably Roger from American Dad. But they're like two completely different shows, so it's like kind of difficult to really rank them. Overall, I very much love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia season 3. Very top tier season here. I still recommend watching the first 2 seasons first so you can get all of the context, because this is a show where you really do reference past episodes a lot. So watch the first 2 seasons, but just know when you get to season 3, you'll start to love the show even more. Thanks for watching.